go, my homies. Let's go. Welcome to the Mile High Hotspur. My name is Leo Coys, and joining me on this post-match reaction are the homies Crash and the homie Juanners making his debut. How are we feeling today, Crash? How you doing, bro?
It was a good day. I had great games of soccer with my kids this morning, which was a much better result than what we saw tonight. So ended
What
well or
age?
started well, ended terrible.
What age?
My son's in U5s and my daughter is U10s.
U5 is that sweet spot.
Oh
About to
yeah,
get him in
yeah.
early,
I got
homie.
to the. It was good. It was good. It was fun. He's fun to watch.
Big up. And Juaner's my homie. Like I was saying, man, appreciate you I appreciate you hopping on the channel with us, bro. How are you feeling today, bro? How you doing?
Man, I was ready to come in here and have a good celebration with y'all, but we were missing that third team to really step up tonight. But beyond that, man, these MLS games just roll on, and I'm here for all of them. So just
Man.
been sitting watching footy, really. But what y'all been up to?
Yep.
Yeah, no, bro, just I was telling Crash it's a bit different to have the 5:30 kickoff as opposed to the 7:30. So it's cool. We still have a bit of time, in the nighttime, people that are winding down or something like that. I still have a bit of time to it's not the end of the night yet, you know what I mean? So it's
Right.
still a bit better being a bit earlier. It could be a lot better. We could be talking about 3 points, my homies, but let's go ahead and say what's up to the homie Kevin. Big yourself up, my homie, every time. Hope you're doing well. Hope you're doing well. And there we go. Crash is showing love to the homie for tuning in and supporting the cause, my homies. But look, it is inevitable. We kind of do have to talk about it. It's just fresh. It's still a fresh wound, my homies. We're about to pour some salt into it. Let's start off with some of the big things that kind of just translated to what happened on this game. Um, it wasn't planned, but Chris Armas somehow ended up missing a flight, or something happened with the flight, and we end up finding out that Chris Little, who of course is the second man in charge, he's there for a reason. So when the time comes for him to be called upon, we rely on him. Gets the nod to be the skip to be the manager today, and also before we get into that, was there changes to the lineup as well, my homies? We see no Cole Bassett,
Mm-hmm.
not even not even in the starting lineup, nor was he on the bench. I'm interested to see what happened with that. We'll get your guys' opinion on that, and then. Was that the only change to the starting 11 from last week, my homies? I want to say it was. We see Cabral come in for Cole
Stefan in goal.
Bassett and Stefan in goal. Correct, yes, and Stefan in goal. Um, and we're going up against a team in DC United who themselves are not in the best form, right? Um, is this a game, Juaners, that you're thinking, just looking at it before, you know what I'm saying, how I just mentioned, Armas was out, a bit of changes, shock changes to the lineup, if you will. Zach Steffen's always going to walk back to the starting lineup. I just want to say that. But to see Cole for Steffen, pretty hectic, my homie. So yeah, Juaners, what's your opinion on that, my homies?
Well, it's crazy because usually after games like this, I can sit down and kind of take a little Sunday, sleep in and kind of wake up the next day. But you caught me like right when I'm like, man, right when I watch that garbage. In short, but I mean, for me, I thought this is a game where the Armis thing, like I was really hoping that wasn't going to be kind of the excuse, you know what I mean? And it very easily could be just, like, oh, we weren't with Armis. But for me, I think like just because you don't have Armis, doesn't mean you don't still go out there and at least, try and, play your game and run them down. And for a lot of it, it felt like the Rapids were waiting to win and they never went for it.
Mm-hmm.
Mm.
What do you
Crash,
guys make of it?
anything
Yeah,
that?
definitely. Yeah, no, I agree. I think it was You know, I would like to be able to blame Armas, but I think the one thing that DC did is, I think they did have our number when it came to that formation, right? I think Kevin in chat just said that. We did lack that width, and it really, they locked down that central channel, and we had a trouble getting through it. And this was a team we should have beaten, and I think I'm just going to say it as well. I don't know if Cabral is the best person to fit that formation. And, I think, I was hopeful that he could fill that. I think you look at the front four and the ratings on the game, and he's the lowest of that attacking front. I think that looks a lot different with Cole. So, maybe it's not the formations figured out. Maybe it's the fact that we just didn't have the right players for that formation to fulfill. But not just putting the blame on him, because I don't think it was him at all. I think it was all across the board. We were playing fast and loose. We weren't connecting passes properly. We were forcing things in. I thought Cannon had one of the worst games he's had in a long time.
Oh yeah.
He just, he would get the ball and just turn it over. Like, he would try to force it in somewhere that didn't need to go. And it just, it was just one of those bad nights, and across the board. And then, of course, we get to the last 5 minutes of the first half, and we concede 2 goals, which seems to be our normal
our MO.
We talk about
operating
that.
procedures.
We talk about that a lot on the channel, bro. Yo, real quick, I do want to send a shout out all the way to the homie Milton O'Brega. This is going all the way to Australia, my homies, with this one. They're hearing the Rapids talk all the way in Australia. Let's go, my homies. Big yourself
Worldwide.
up. And he also says, off topic, but you guys follow NFL. He's a Chargers fan. Those pesky Chargers. I'm a Broncos fan, being a homer. You know what I mean? But it's not my biggest thing. Real quick, Crash and Juanners. You know what I mean NFL?
Oh yeah.
Fantasy.
Yeah.
That's about it for me,
so
though.
Milton, I'll let Milton know. My in-laws were season ticket holders for the Chargers for years. So once the Rams left, they were a Charger fan, and so now they're here in Denver now. But yeah, so I've been to quite a few Charger games in my years.
Yeah, and big up to Luca. Luca talks ball. This one's going all the way to England with this one, my homies. The Rapids are going worldwide with this one. Big yourself up, Luca. Hope you're good, my homie. I watch Luca's content. He does MK Dons. He's an MK Dons fan and an Arsenal fan. I really enjoy the MK Dons, the lower league football vibes. You know what I mean? They're dope, homie. So hope, big up to you guys. Big up to yourself. Big up, Milton. Hope you're well. A couple of things that Kevin brought up that I do want to talk about, and Crash, you kind of just hinted on that too. I mean, before we get too off into the game, this is a good comment right here. And I was thinking the same thing. Like, when I seen the changes and everything, I'm thinking to myself, like, why would we keep doing this? And Crash, you've been on the show with me more frequently. You would hear me say the phrase "horses for courses" a couple of times. And I think this was the opportunity to switch the lineup, or not switch the lineup. I'm sorry, to switch the formation and probably do something different. Now, this also is going to go into the whole play of, like, is Cole Bassett injured, or was there something to do there? So if that is the case, then we might need to switch the formation, do something different. But then, my homie, here goes the play devil's advocate too, Juanners. Did we just stick to what the Rapids were most comfortable with at the game time decision, because we weren't going to have Chris Armas there to lead us through the helm? You know what I mean, Juanners? So was it? I mean, is the formation outdated, or should we just hold on to it? And like I just mentioned, should we know when to play it and when not to?
Well, I kind of want to step in on this because it wasn't too long ago. One of the first few games that I had followed the Rapids was when Pablo was managing. He was the coach at the time, and he had gotten a yellow card or a red card, and he was out for the next game. And this was back in 2015. Like, this was a rough start to the season. In comes Claudio Lopez, and he gets this team to score 4 that game against Dallas on the road. And so that for me was like one of my earliest like Rapids memories, and like seeing that, like, yeah, sometimes the assistant coach, can, elevate a team, and sometimes it's good to have like a different voice in the locker room. I thought if there was ever a time, like you said, to experiment, it was this one. I mean, like let's count it, right? It's an Eastern Conference team. So if you lose here, it's like it doesn't suck as much as losing the, like, I don't know, Minnesota or St. Louis, right? So I'm like, whatever, it's DC. But if Armas isn't gonna be there, or if he's, because the induction was planned. It's not like today it dropped and we all found out. No, like leading up to this game, there was whispers, hey, are we thinking Armas is gonna make it from Dallas to DC? And I posted on Box State Footy, I'm like, get him on the PJ. I posted that thinking he was gonna make it, and he didn't make it. So for me, it was just like this was the chance to go out there and play and have like, at the end of the day, I don't think the Rapids looked like they were having any fun out there. They didn't look like they felt like they wanted to go home, but that's how I see it, because it does suck to lose Armas, but you could have planned it. You could have bought like you could have rented a PJ, you know what I mean? Or something.
Hold on, my homie. But check this out, bro. That's all well and true, bro. Like, but see, and this is what bothers me the most about this game today, bro, is leading up to when they scored their goal, we were the better team. So we stuck. We had a plan, whether it was to play a different formation or we went, scrap it and we're gonna play whatever it is, bro. Like the 11 that started the game, the formation we played in, it was good enough to get us. We controlled the game. When we scored our goal, we could have easily had two by then because we missed a couple opportunities, as did DC United. Like in the first 5 minutes, they also missed some opportunities. But what I'm saying is we definitely shot ourselves in the foot for this game. And after we gave up that first goal, what was the first goal to Benteke? If I'm right, the first game was to So Cheeto just got buff dieseled out the way by Benteke, which, I mean, fair play to Benteke and to everybody involved in that. Like, we all know 9 times out of 10 when that ball's going up in the air and Benteke is fighting for it, what's gonna happen, my homie? He's probably gonna win it. So that, I think that was the first like foot in mouth for ourselves, bro. And then the second like big fucking mistake moment was Reggie Cannon literally just fluffing his line, bro, and having a flounder with that ball that goes into the player, and he beats Reggie Cannon. Like, that player had a very good. It was a hard goal for him. Like, it was a very well taken shot, and he just happened to make it. And after that, bro, we were deflated. You know what I mean? So, like, I just want to say that, like, a lapse in judgment, bro, that led to 2 awful mistakes. And after those 2 mistakes, bro, we were just like, you know what? That's fucking it. Like, we don't. There was no motivation after that. The second half, my homies, like, I don't mean to go too far ahead, but the second half was just fucking whiskey dick football, homie. Like, no action whatsoever, my homies. So, I mean, Crash, what do you think, bro?
Yeah, I mean, absolutely. I mean, we concede 2 goals in those. I can't get over that. I mean, the majority of our goals at this point have been conceded in that like 5 minutes at the tail end of the first half, and it's just killing me that we can't stay switched on. I mean, I think I made the joke in our one of our Rapids chat was, can we just tell the guys that we're playing 50 minutes from now on? Like, it's just a 50-minute half, and we're gonna, we can shut off at 45 or 47 or whatever. But
or just don't.
Yeah, that second half. Yeah, right. You'd think that's the things I tell my daughter, and hey, when you're out there, play the entire time until the coach pulls you off the field. Right? Don't stop playing. Hey, pay attention. Stay in the game. Don't shut off. But the second half, you look at the momentum, and the possessions. I mean, we dominated that second half. We just didn't do anything with it. Like, there was nothing that was solid soccer during that second half that I could see. There was maybe a few chances, but it seems like there was just half-hearted runs, disconnection. There was I thought, we got to see, Teddy Cubity Pietro come out, which is as exciting, but I thought he had a terrible reunion, like going back home. I thought, I was hoping to see more from him, but I think, it just nobody wanted to play. I think it was just they just weren't there. They weren't running. They weren't clicking. They weren't on the right side of the right ball at the right time, and they were just all over the place. It was just kind of disconnected. That I guess is the word I could say.
Can I say something about how I saw this game? Just kind of before it all was because I saw the 4-2-2 too, and I was like, right, 4-2-2, and then I thought, well, this means, the Rapids are going to do what they did against San Diego, and they're going to press the hell out of DC. And, that's kind of where that first half came from, that fun, that fun first half is just, the Rapids couldn't capitalize on those turnovers. And the second half, DC gave us the ball, and they said, do it, and we can't do it with the ball. Like, I think that's something that is becoming very prevalent now, that anytime you concede the ball to the Rapids, like there's nobody that's gonna, like, you never think like there's a plan to get it to Mihailovic or a plan to get it to, the strikers or anything like that, So it's like right now, I really thought we were going to go in there and press the brakes out of them. And, we just didn't. And it sucks because DC, like, you look at any other of their other games, and you could easily see the Rapids beating them 9 out of 10 times. You know what I mean? Like they're just, oh man, this team is just too bad to lose to, really. At the end of the day,
that's exactly what I thought. I thought the same thing. It's like, how do we lose to this team? They were 3. This is their 3rd win of the season, I think. Or maybe it was their 4th. But yeah, it's like they weren't playing well enough for us to lose.
Yeah, and they had they didn't have Peglo, who is one of their better attackers. They didn't have Kyle Rowles, who's their first string center back. They have one of the worst goalkeepers in the league in Barasa, like on advanced stats. Him and like the new keeper they have there, they're like bad. Like, I don't know how to explain what we just lost to a bad team, in the East, it's fine. Like I said, right. But, like the Rapids kind of didn't give us a reason to care about this one, and so it kind of is like, pues ni modo, whatever.
Yeah. I thought, like, after when I was so I was actually just up the street here at my wife's family's house, and I had the tablet on. I was watching the game on the tablet, and at halftime we drove down here. It's like 2 blocks drive or whatever, and I'm thinking to myself, like, you know what we need, bro? We just need like more experience, homie. Like, I know Andreas Maxu is supposed to be like one of our experienced players. Cheeto is one of our experienced players. Mihailovic, a captain, he's our captain, is supposed to be one of these more experienced players. Zach Steffen, a player who's, played at Manchester City, who has European, not necessarily pedigree, but experience. We have players that have played out there, but we don't have like somebody who's just going to say, you know what, I'm grabbing this game by the scruff of the neck. You know what I mean? Like, Georgie is the closest we have to that, because he'll try those shots. He'll give you those banger free kicks. He'll put those crosses in to give yourself a dangerous situation. But we don't have like that composed, that and even to add more into the mix, like Oliver Larraz today and Josh Atencio were playing a double pivot. You need to be a monster in that position, my homie. You need to be experienced and level-headed. And I'm not saying it's their fault, my homies, because the two goals that kind of got set, that we conceded, they were kind of were balls played overhead and then swung in on crosses. You know what I mean? So it was good team play by DC to get those goals. It wasn't one individual error from the Rapids to concede the goals. But what I'm saying is, if we were to have like a bigger presence, like just like a more dominating, like maybe a bigger name, maybe just like a bigger person, a bigger personality, or just somebody to solidify us, and to say we gave up because Crash, this is an ongoing situation, my homie. We're giving up that goal close to halftime or leading at a halftime. That's mentality, bro. That's not being 100% there. That's not being focused. That's not being on your P's and Q's. And if you have this monster player, bro, he's gonna be, telling you that shit. And like what I said, that's what I'm saying, Crash. Georgie's the closest we have to that, but like, I'm sorry, bro. He's a good captain. I'm not saying he's not. But he's just not that like that leader.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Well, I think too is it's a good point, right? Who's our other person that has maybe that caliber, and it's Hoffa, but he can't talk to anybody. Like you don't like he's his. He can't talk to anybody. Like there's no communication. I mean, maybe in Spanish, but
we had a guy in Omir.
Challenge. Yeah, we did. but I think that's the challenge. I think I appreciate Hoffa. I mean, I got his name on my jersey, right? I enjoy what Hoffa does. I think he's been an excellent center forward striker for us. He does a ton of work. But if anybody's going to pull people together, like you're looking at your target players, your people who, are DPs, the people who are standing up. One, it's not going to be Cabral, right? We know that's not going to happen. Our oldest, is with Keegan, and he's on the bench, so he's not, doing anything there. And I think Georgie is learning, but they're all still young and they don't have that kind of like grit. To kind of dig it out. And I think that's the biggest challenge that we're struggling. I agree with you there. It's, we get to those last few minutes where we have to just solid lock it down, and we can't for whatever reason. So I don't know what's gonna take to get it there, but hopefully we can sort that out. Because if we keep conceding goals in the last dying minutes of each half, we're not going anywhere.
Crash, I like that you brought up Rosenberry, because in the middle of Leo's impassioned speech about needing a guy to step up, I think on the defensive end, it is Keegan, like straight up, like he is probably, along with Cole, one of the longer rostered players. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So like, I know he's on the older end. I know a lot of people aren't, that thrilled about him, but at the same time, like Rosenberry did get a contract extension. You know what I mean? He was the captain before his benching here. So I kind of want to see him back in the lineup just to have, a regular like Iron Man, because he used to be our Iron Man. And in the 3 games he's missed, the Rapids have conceded 5 goals in 3 games since he's been out. So.
Yeah, I mean, one thing to think about, right, is I know we've got Jackson who's kind of filled that role on the left side for him. I know he's not natural over there. And even against Seattle, when we pulled out Travis, we put in Murphy, which I didn't really get. I was confused. I was kind of confused by that. I was like, oh, Keegan's coming in, and we didn't. So I'm kind of confused as to why. I mean, I get that he doesn't have the same pace as some of those guys. But I think the guidance, the leadership that he does bring in does help. So I don't know, and I think there's some solidity back there with him. He's not doing those dangerous movements, right? He's not necessarily getting so far down the field he can't get back because he can't make that run. So there's a little bit more reliability with him out there in that capacity. He plays a little safer, which I think we could use from time to time. But I don't know. I would love to get a good answer as to why he has not had any minutes in the past few games.
He stopped cutting hair, I think.
Yeah.
I really wouldn't know, though.
I like Milton's suggestion here. Maybe we should just play Cartman at goalkeeper, Kyle at left wing, Kenny at striker, and Stan at center back, my homies. Let's go.
Cartman and goalkeeper.
I would put him in. We need to.
I'll put him at the 6. But what were you gonna say? Sorry.
He'd be the monster 6. Yeah, he'd be that monster 6 eating everything up.
Yeah, why not?
Right.
No, just reading Kevin's comment here said, I also feel like we need to constantly rotate the squad as well. I want the players to get the experience playing in the league so they can get used to playing. And he says, I just hate how the club relies too much on singular players, and that's also a good point there. And Milton says, is the Rapids a good team? The Rapids are, the Rapids are a good team. There's always room for improvement, my homies. Let's just say that there's always going to be room for improvement on any team. But yeah, I honestly, I feel like, I think that we might need to get in some new, not new players, but at least one more player to fill in, like, and I don't know, like, the whole roster situation. I don't know, like, the whole, I don't know how that all takes place or whatever. Like, if you could just go and get somebody at the summer window or whatever. But even going into this season, like, we got rid of not Ollie, Jasper Lofson, right, who was in the center midfield. We bring in some other players. We bring in younger players at the beginning of the season. So, I mean, that adds to the depth, but we are showing right now a lack of what's the word, bro? I don't want to say maturity because that's not it, but just like maybe just
gravitas.
That's
yeah,
it. Yeah,
you know what I mean?
We're not dangerous
Yeah.
enough.
Yeah, that could, yeah.
We play with San Jose at home next week on Saturday. Not that I'm saying San Jose is a great team, but they have some dangerous players that you have to be really careful. You have to be worried about that front line, right? Like, across the board, there's people that are dangerous. Where we have Georgie and Hoffa, and really that's it. Like the people that you would consider dangerous, right? And they can play it, but they don't have that extra layer of danger. I mean, I think Yappy did a great job. He got that goal, off of that fun, flick from Navajo, where they were on an island by themselves and figured out how to get it in the goal, which I thought was pretty amazing. But outside of that, I mean, where's the depth coming from, right? I mean, I appreciate what Yappy's done and stepped into this role, but he's not it. He's getting minutes, and he's going to maybe get there at some point. Cabral's not it, and then everybody behind. I mean, Cole hasn't showed up to the part where he's dangerous like he may have been last year, but I think it's partly because he's playing in a new position. He's in a new role than he was in the past. So we need somebody dangerous that's adding to this attack, and we just don't have it. And I don't know where it's coming from.
Now, one thing I do want to say about Kevin's comment there is I do think the team is being rotated better this year than last year. Last year, it definitely felt like there was only 111. This year, I mean, we saw, who do we see? Kamani, we saw Teddy. Even in like Champions League, we've seen some Sam Bassett. We've seen, I mean, Wayne Frederick is
Alvin
like
Harris,
our 12th man at this point. But like I do agree though. It's, you need like that next guy, like a good backup striker or a good backup attacking midfielder. Because Ronan comes in and you're like, is he gonna like take the game like by the horns?
Yeah,
nah,
Yeah, I think that was the one thing where we brought our depth players in, and not that Ronan's bad. I think he needs more minutes to be in better form. And I was worried there were some elements there, but what we had Sam getting back in, which is, I mean, good for him to get extra minutes. He's coming off an injury, so I'm glad to see him back in. But outside of that, you've got Wayne, Teddy, and Kamani, which are all under 21. I mean, I think Teddy has some good, obviously he's got some good play with DC from last year that I think we could get to, but I don't think he's quite in the team yet, really, and understanding the whole flow of it and found his lane. But just nobody's coming on that you're expecting to be like, oh, they're going to change that game. And we've got good depth because of injuries. People can step in for those starting positions if as needed to support. I think we're really on our back line, but anything up in the attacking front, it's slim.
I'm gonna pull up the sofa score stuff that we could look at, bro. That we can start getting into some of these stats, my homies. Or at least whatever we could see from these motherfuckers. Let's see.
Are they up there? Are they that quick?
What do you mean?
I don't use
Oh, yeah.
SofaScore, so I'm like, I didn't realize they had the
Fought Mob's updated too.
SofaScore? Yeah, let me get rid of that banner real quick. All right. So yeah, I like to use SofaScore, bro. It's just because I used it like once. See, here's my thing, homie. When I do Spurs content, I don't dish no stats out, bro. I'm not. I always like even said like on my channel, I don't do stats, bro. But ever since I started doing like pits content and like really wanting to understand the game a bit better, like the just like the statistical stuff, I started using SofaScore on the tablet. You know what I mean? And so like while I'm watching the game, I got my tablet right here, homie, and I'm like going back and forth, and it helps me out, bro. It's helped me to better just grasp the game and just understand it and just see like what's going on, I guess. Yeah, it's been pretty cool, man. I like it. I use it. There's a FOTMob, you know, other people use FOTMob, FBref, and stuff like that. It's just my go-to, my homies. So yeah, let's just look right now on the far left side right here, which is the what the hell is it called? The momentum meter
there
or
you are.
whatever.
Yep. No, you got it.
We're on the bottom side. The green would be DC United. And like I mentioned off early, we had a couple of chances pretty early on, and so did DC United. And then for a minute there, they just had the better of us. It went back and forth. We ended up getting the goal, and literally right after that, my homies. Well, hold on. Let's just talk. First of all, let's just talk a bit about the Rapids goal. They kind of kept the play going, as if like the goal didn't go off. My homies, Juanners, I thought the ref has a watch or something like that that tells you that it go in. Did it not like go off or something, or what? It took a minute for them to go back and count the goal, didn't it?
Yeah, I don't know why, because the minute I saw it, it was a goal. Like you just kind of,
Oh, yeah.
I saw it. I knew I was like jumping out of my seat, like the DiCaprio meme, like goal right there. But I mean, I don't know about the goal line tech really. My thing about that is the goal that DC conceded, like I guess the goal we scored, like that is DC. If you see them, it's like 2v3, 2 Rapids versus 3 DC defenders. Nobody coming back to defend. And I thought, all right, you got your first goal. Here's the momentum. Like I'm expecting them to roll out. Cause I mean, you look at the momentum there, and a lot of it was, Rapids, and it was like, oh, it's only a matter of time until they score the first. And the first came, and it was nice. There's always something about mentally seeing the ball hit the back of the net. You know what I mean? Kind of positive psychology side of the game. I don't want to blame that too much, but you know what I mean? Like not as nice a goal to see, especially if you're at home, like yelling, like that's a goal. That's a goal.
It's true. Yeah. Yeah. It was,
Yo, the homie,
it was one of those.
real quick, my homies. I just want to say the homie Milton asked what the atmosphere at the Rapids game was at, and then the homie says, check out the vlogs. Yeah, my homie, go to my channel, and you'll see I do match day vlogs at the Rapids stadium, and I tried to just showcase the filthy animals just having fun and getting down. And so if you really want to see my homie, you could definitely check out the match day vlogs on the channel. And let's see
I will say it's gotten better.
Here.
It's gotten better. The vibe at the stadiums has gotten better over the past few years.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, definitely. Yeah.
Let's go, Victor Pulio. My homie's in the chat. Big up to you, my homie. Big up to you.
That's a good word for it. That is a very good word for it.
Yeah, pathetic. Exactly. Yeah. My bad, Crash. I probably ruined your train of thought, my homie, but you were going to say something.
Oh, no, you're good. No. That was good. I don't remember where I was at. It was just.
Yeah, I'm sorry. Well,
still trying to figure out what happened.
I agree, my homie. So look, really nobody on our team in the greens besides Darren Yappi and Rafa Navarro, and I think that's because one got the assist and the other got the goal. Other than that, there really wasn't too much to talk about with those. I do want to kind of go over the average positions, because something that I noticed off of the bat was this is DC. We're going from the bottom up on this one here. We played our back line pretty wide out. And when I was seeing this throughout the first half, Oliver Larraz was actually the deeper of the two pivots, and Atencio was kind of getting up and about more. But right here, we're going to just start off on our back line with Jackson Travis, and then a little bit of Cheeto right here. And then, like I said, look at the big gap between both of these two players here. And then you have Andreas Maxu all the way over here. And then Reggie kind of deputizing just mainly on that right-hand side there. And as opposed to Jackson Travis kind of sporadically getting out and about there. I've kind of noticed this trend with the Rapids throughout the season when we're doing the back line there. Of course, we're going to kind of have one of them go up, and the fullbacks, one of our fullbacks usually bombs up and down, and the other one kind of just plays more cover. And on this one, I think I would say maybe Jackson Travis is a bit more faster than Reggie, so I'm surprised that he was the one kind of spread out and getting back everywhere. And then we see Josh Atencio right here getting a bunch of miles in as well today. And Oliver Larraz, like I said, I thought he was the further back of the two. And then we get to our attack up here, my homies, where it's just four players just bunched up in each other's way. You see Georgi Mihailovic is probably going to be the one with the most area covered throughout here. Rafa Navarro, one of our biggest threats aerially. I like how I like everything. I honestly, like, Hoffa's growing on me to being my favorite player. I like everything about him, his off the ball movement, and just look at how much. Oh, that's Georgie. Look at how much space he's getting around everywhere. Even in the striker's box, I always bitch because a lot of games this is empty because Hoffa loves to drop back and get involved in the build-up play. And then Yappy playing more central, more of like a 4-2-2. It looked like a 4-4-2. I'm sorry. And then we have Cabral getting back into the lineup, just I guess doing what Cabral does. And fuck, I hate to say it, but just being irrelevant, my homies. Crash, what do you think after that right there, my homie?
Yeah, I mean, I was clicking along with you because I was trying to see everybody's positioning, and you look at everyone, and you look at Cabral, and you just kind of look like it. To me, from what I can tell, he's just standing around, like he's covering that right side, but he's not even getting deep on that right side. Like you'd think somebody, granted it's a 4-2-2, so we're playing narrow. I get that. But still, like, we get down in the box, it's we're a 4-2-4 essentially, right?
Yep.
And he's not. I mean, he's never made it past the 18-yard box. like what the heck? Like, we've got and I think that's the biggest thing is you can look at Georgie as an example of kind of what's on. I mean, he's all the way down in quarter. I mean, granted, he's taking some shots and doing different things, but where he's getting touches. I mean, yeah, he's much more relevant. You look at Cabral, and he's just not getting the ball. He's not in position. He's not getting it downfield. I think so. That's a big hole where I think you go back to maybe last week and you look at Seattle, same position for Cole. He's going to be touching that ball everywhere, and that especially on that right side. Anywhere from midfield all the way to the touchline. So I think it's just that's our hole, and we've always identified it, and we know it's there. I don't know. I know they didn't have an option with him, and they probably weren't ready to start Teddy at that position, but I would almost like to see it. I think we could have had a good opportunity there to have a young guy start at home and prove something. But I don't know.
I mean, you also got Calvin Harris, it's been too long that he's just been on the bench, and he's ghosted just as much as like Omer, really. Like there was kind of an interesting dynamic to our wingers.
Calvin didn't even travel.
There you go.
He wasn't even in the lineup. He wasn't even on the bench last game either, I don't think, homie. He wasn't even in the squad last game either.
It's kind of like it's interesting because for as much help as we need there to not only let go of Omer, who I thought is a tidy player, who I thought, if you look at his advanced stats, he wasn't, far off from, the top, earners in terms of production, right? But I think, like, for me, part of what Cabral, like this whole experiment is, I remember last year he was playing on the left and now he's playing on the right. Like for me, I always want to give that little bit of a leash to a player, right? Especially one that is soaking up 1.8 million in contract, right? Like I want to say, hey, let's see him on the left, because that's where he was thriving at before. Well, I say thriving at, like don't crucify me to that, but
he was playing his best ball in 5 years
at the left. And so, I mean, another thing here is, like, can you point to Reggie again, brother?
Yeah. I got you, my homie. Let me get back over here.
I don't like seeing Reggie push up into the attacking spots. There's just he is our best 1v1 defender. So why he's up there playing like Rosenberry would usually be like, I mean, if you're gonna have an attacking right back, go put Keegan out there who can at least test the keeper. You know what I mean?
Right. Yeah.
One final stat I wanted to kind of say is because, like, the momentum is nice and everything, but the Rapids had 0 shots on target that entire second half.
Oh yeah.
And like to not even test one of the worst keepers in the league, like, come on, you know what I mean? Like, look at that XG and look at the second half XG. It's like that's
that was first half. That first half XG. Yeah, that's brutal, homie. That's brutal. Yeah. That's brutal. I mean, and let me take a look here. They had 3 big chances. More clinical, you know what I mean? Just more clinical.
The crazy thing about it is we had 70% of the possession in the second half, and we had 0.05 XG.
That's it.
Yeah, no, bro. We didn't do anything. We didn't do anything with the ball. I mean, we just, like I said, whiskey dick football, homie. We didn't get anything.
I just want to say, what is whiskey dick football?
Well, I mean, you're just.
You drink too much whiskey, it doesn't work right?
Yeah. You ain't giving up, homie. You know what I mean? You ain't gonna give up, but you probably ain't gonna get nothing.
Man, what a terrible time to get a little. Maybe the players celebrated the Hall of Fame induction too much. Maybe that's what it was.
Yo, I did want to say big up to the homie Just Mental Jim, who either is or was in the building. He still is in here, my homie. Big up. Useless group of players tonight.
Not wrong.
It was just not wrong at all. It says playing like fucking Carlisle United. They'd have given us a run for our money today, my homies. Yeah, I mean, just anything else that you guys want to talk about the game or anything before? I mean, we could definitely keep going, my homies.
I want to ask, who are your guys' preferred fullbacks right now? Because it doesn't seem like anyone has that spot, even with Reggie, I think. Like, and I love Reggie. I thought he was going to be a much more defensive player than an attacking one. But I just kind of wanted to ask you too, if you're a coach, who are your fullbacks out there?
I have a hard time seeing Jackson out there. I think he adds a lot of pace. I think he's got that on, but I don't think he's got the consistency and the, I think they're just trying to get him minutes, right? I think they're like, oh, it's safe enough. They're trying to get him minutes, but I think in reality, it's going to be Vines and Cannon. I would like to see Keegan in there though. So that's where I struggle, is not having him in for Travis. So I would say definitely Vines and Cannon are at it right now. But if Cannon keeps playing like he played today, I say I put Keegan back in.
What about you, Leo?
Bro, when I'm at the stadium watching the game and I'm with my homie, we always talk about the fullback position because, I mean, that's what I used to play when I played. again, my homies, like, I know it's cheesy, but I just feel like we have to understand who our opponent is, and we have to know our squad and know what players to play for that game. There's definitely games, my homie. Where did I see that comment just a minute ago? When Vines and Rosenberry are a perfect fucking combination. They complement each other well, bro. Keegan Rosenberry, especially in the second half, Keegan Rosenberry is the first one to win those goalkeeper kicks. You know, when the goalkeeper kicks it off, Keegan Rosenberry wins those interceptions, bro. Like nothing, bro. He's a hustler, bro. He could grind, and Sam Vines. I think when he's now, I might just I just might fucking contradict myself. I don't know if he's 100% fit right now, but if he's fit, I think he should be the starting left back. I like how we were playing with Reggie Cannon and Keegan Rosenberry. They were even switching off there at the beginning of the season, and we didn't look bad either. That's just it, my homies. It's just we're so inconsistent with we were inconsistent with the 4-2-3-1 at the beginning. We were inconsistent with the 4-3-3. We're inconsistent with the 4-2-2, or if it's even the 4-4-2. Whatever it is, my homies, I just nailed it on the head even there. Our formations are inconsistent. Our lineups are inconsistent. Our performances are inconsistent, and our results are inconsistent, my homies. I don't even think Chris Armas knows what his best 11 is, my homies. And I'm saying his best 11 because he was playing Cabral for the longest time there. When he had Omir, was Omir not getting any minutes because they might have known he was going to go out somewhere, or did he go out somewhere because he wasn't getting the minutes? You know what I mean, my homies? It's just there's so many things that come into play with this Rapids team, and I don't think the coach. No, I mean, no disrespect to Coach Armas. It's a good problem to have if I'm honest. You know what I mean? You can have your variety of players to pick from for the different matches that you're going to go up against. Maybe today we would have been more suited off, bro. Knowing that Cole Bassett wasn't there, why wouldn't we try a different formation? You know what I mean? Like, why wouldn't we try something different? Why do we, if look at this right here, my homies, this is right here, a 5-3-2, a 5-3-2. Why can't we do a 3 at the back if that's the case? We have Ian Murphy just chilling, who I feel bad for, my homies, because he's only getting played when we need to fucking call up on him, bro. And that's not fair because, like, this guy comes in and does his job efficiently, my homies. I'm not saying he deserves to be the starter, but when he's playing, my homies, and he's a good player. You know what I mean? So,
and when he played at fullback, he's done a great job, right?
When he plays at back, he plays good as well, bro. So,
you might not say he's a starter, but I am on the Murphy train. I think our fullback should be Murphy and Keegan. I do like Sam, but not as a left back. I think he should be a wing back in that fight in a 5-3-2. You know what I mean? Like, that's when I would want to see Vines. And Vines and Rosenberry was a top of the West, fullback combination not too long ago under a 5-3-2. You know what I mean? So it's like it's more than just
that would be good to see. Ian, you got Cheeto, Ian, and Maxu at the back with those two wide. I think that could be some real solid play there. I would love to see that.
Yeah.
Where's Colorado in the standings now? I think that's a good thing to look at now. In the West,
we're currently 6th in the West. Yeah, so we're
14th.
San Diego's currently winning 3-0 against hold on, who are they playing? Austin. So Austin's losing at the current moment, if I have it correct. Yes. No, they're losing to Minnesota, my bad. Or they lost to them. San Diego's playing Dallas, and they're beating Dallas 3-0.
I think where the Rapids are right now is the perfect summation of where they're at. You can, flip Austin and Colorado. I know Colorado did beat San Diego, but there's still another leg there to see. I think that midweek game's next week. I know some homies are going after that one. Yes. That one should be fun. But I think Rapids right now, this is where they're at. Like, this is this is the level 4-4-3 after what 11.
But
What do you?
that's misleading. That's misleading because Crash and I have this conversation every stream. We could definitely be. Look, we're at where we're at because we're at where we're at. That's just facts. But we can definitely, had we not shot ourselves in the foot a couple of times, or had we not, messed it up, we could definitely be up there, my homies. Crash, we could be up there.
Well, I mean,
I don't think we can be up there.
You look at the two losses that we shouldn't have lost, right? We shouldn't have lost that Seattle game. We shouldn't have lost Houston. But again, I think that inconsistency is just who we are, right? And so I think in reality, we should be up there, but it's very rapacious of us to not be up there.
Yeah, I mean, that's like I said, we're where we're at because that's where we're at. But I mean, given certain circumstances, we could be talking about a different position. But no, like respectively to everybody else, where everybody else is at, it's a fair, including seeing LA Galaxy down at the bottom. It's a fair, assessment of how the season has been going, my homies.
I do want to say
Big up, and thank you for joining us, my homie. Have a good day out there in Australia, my homie.
See you, Milton. I do want to say this is hopefully it's not the last time we won was against Vancouver. That was a good loss. Like there is such thing as a good loss. This is a bad loss, and I think if they just if you're gonna have a bad loss, have it against a good team or an Eastern Conference team, really. But I guarantee you, like I know someone said, like the earthquakes are gonna annihilate us. I better hope that this is the response game. Like you need to come out because we've only scored twice this season. One was a draw. Like it's been a while since we've had like a thriller. I thought it was gonna be here against DC, honestly, but
yeah,
just
I expected us to be at least a 3-goal game for us on this one. I didn't expect us to come out as placid as we thought.
Yeah, that's a good one too.
Yeah, that's a good one as well too. Yeah. And also too, now my homies, we're at negative goal difference, sitting right there in 7th place with that -1. Like that's just, I hate that, man. I hate that. Good thing I didn't travel from North Carolina for this shit fest.
Yeah, that would not have been a fun drive home.
I've actually been to DC twice. I have seen a 2-1 win and a 0-0 draw. And I think those are 2 better results than today.
Bro, I think I'm done with away days for a little bit, homie. My 2 away days with the Rapids yesterday. Last year went no good. My trips to London have went no good. Like I'm done, bro. I don't want to travel nowhere to watch no football, homie. I get skunked everywhere I go, homie.
It's part of the game. It helps.
It's part of the game, bro.
It helps. Because when you do win on the road, that'll be like top, bro. That'll be euphoric.
Well, shit, bro. We had fun in St. Louis, bro. When we drew 0-0, shit, we felt like we won that game. Remember that? We were sitting there, bro. They had us like they had a couple of the security guards like surround us down because they didn't want to let us go. They like held us and let everybody else go. So we just sat there singing the whole time, bro, just causing ruckus right there in the little corridor, just waiting to be released, homie. That was definitely a fun part of the away day. But Crash, my homie, what is your takeaway from tonight's match, my homie?
Takeaway is let's make it the return game for San Jose. Right? It's we tend to get angry. We learn from our losses, so I'm hoping we learn from this one and like we did Vancouver, come home and play one hell of a game and just blow out San Jose. I want to have I've got 2 teams of girls that are going to be screaming and excited watching that game, and so I want a good result. At least let's send them home on the end of the season. I think about 40 girls are going to be up the top of 113. So
nice.
I want a good game. I want a good game.
You should teach them you're shit and you are.
Yeah, if we could get two full squads of girls singing that, it'll definitely start catching on throughout the rest of the stadium, bro.
There we go.
If anything, we're led to believe, homie, that this next game we're gonna have a cracker because that's just how it's been going. That's just how it's been going. We have this bad performance, and then we have a good performance. We'll see what happens. My homie Juanners, what about you, bro? What is your takeaway from the match?
Man, I gotta sit down and rewatch it, but it's like the panic button, it just opened. You know what I mean? And it's not like we're not about to hit it, but it's just like, ooh, there's like, oh, there's like potential fraud allegations on this team here, and I just saw we just got bumped down to 7 live in time.
Yeah.
Yep.
But
LA
like,
scored, so they're up.
that's what it is. Yeah, I mean, I think just this team is like they've got to prove that there's like bad spell of form is just a bad spell of form. You know what I mean? It can't be the norm. And more importantly, like I think more than anything, you have to come away with the half without conceding. Like one game where we just go to halftime either up or level. Because I mean, going to the locker room after conceding a goal like that, it's like, well, now we shot ourselves in the foot because any feel good that you would have had going into the half like is gone. And so I think just it's tough that we're at a point now where progress will be made if we don't concede before the half, but that's what I want. That's like the biggest hurdle right now for this team is just mental blocks. So gotta clear that shit out.
I agree, homie. I agree. I think mentally, um, we just lack something there that'll just rally the players a bit more, especially after conceding that first goal. Maybe somebody to just say, "Hey, come on, you guys!" Like, just there's just something there, bro, that just. We concede that goal, and very late on in the first half, and then back to back goals, my homies. That just literally the 1-2 punch. And after that, my homies, any team at home, I'm starting to see in the MLS, if you have a goal lead, homie, just sit back. Just sit back, you know what I mean? Or don't even don't expose yourself. At this point, the Rapids were going to be opened up in order to try and score a goal. And even then, the little bit of opportunities in the counterattack that DC had, they probably could have scored some more goals on us when we were trying to, you know what I mean, do something there. So, yeah, my takeaway is we still got work to do, my homies. As much as I want to big up the Rapids and as much as I want to think that like we're gonna just win every trophy that we can, we it's gonna be like it's gonna take the fight in the players to make it like through the whole season. And then we have Leagues Cup coming up in a couple of months, which is going to take, a lot more of our depth. You know what I mean? We're going to be coming up against some even bigger, heavy opponents. You know what I'm saying? And I'm no disrespect to the MLS, but a different brand of opponents in these Mexican teams that we're going to face. So, if we're going to hit any type of rhythm, my homies, let's start doing it now and get these ugly losses out of the way. Let's learn from them while we can right now. And yeah, let's see what happens if Cole Bassett is injured or what. I don't know what the hell's going on there, so I'm interested to find out. But yeah, the homie says, I don't know who I would support, the Pits or Cruz Azul. Ooh. But yeah, my homies. Juanners, you got anything you want to plug, my homie?
Yeah, you could follow me. I've had it up here at Box State Footy. That's just where I be making content and whatnot. I got an MLS podcast on there. We talk a lot of shit about DC. So for them to fucking beat us here, I'm gonna be pissed on the next one. But no, just at Box State Footy at Juanners 715, and that's the socials.
Nice. And it's also Box State Footy on YouTube as well. You upload your podcast as well. So if anybody wants to check that out, you could do so at Box State Footy. And Crash, what about you? Anything you want to plug, my homie?
No, nothing for me. You can just, I'm Daddy Shadow on Twitter and and catching me here with you. You might see me at the Dick running around next week on Saturday with a bunch of Rapid Youth soccer team players, but that's about it.
Nice. Well, my homies, unfortunately, we are having to end this one with a fat L, and not the one you smoke, my homies. I'm talking about the ones that happen when you get smoked. So not only is it come on you Spurs, but it's also up the fucking Pids. Let's go, my homies. We'll catch you on the next one.